Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're testing out a new line from Catrice, the True Skin product line. I did pick up everything in the base line. So we have the foundation, concealer, and their mineral powder. So I actually picked up all of these products a couple weeks ago from Ulta because the line's claims of being lightweight and skin-like and also good coverage really intrigued me because I love all of those things. And of course they are drugstore priced. But yeah, I'm super pumped to try these. I did see that Tati recently reviewed this foundation. Now it seems like it's sold out because I went to pick up another shade. Actually, this one's a tad light, and on Ulta they're all sold out besides I think 2 or 3 shades. So hopefully these products come back in stock soon. Let's just go ahead and get into the review, demo, and wear test of the new Catrice True Skin line. Starting off with the Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. So this claims to be long wearing, medium buildable coverage. It's cruelty free and vegan, and it comes in 20 shades, and this retails for a nice price point of $11. I don't know why I said it like that. $11 for this foundation. Okay, I will be using 2 different application methods for this foundation. On this side of my face, I'll use my Rare Beauty foundation brush, and then on this side, I'll be using my Eco Tool sponge. So I decided to pick up the shade Neutral Porcelain, which is a tad light for my self-tan body, but it matches my natural skin actually really well. So it's whatever, we'll work with it. And this has 1.01 ounces of product. You do get a very nice pump bottle. Wow, I didn't know it was that messy already. Make sure you shake it. I kind of forgot to. So it is a very liquidy texture. You can see it running down my hand there. But let's get started. I just have my normal sunscreen and skin prep on. So we'll start on the brush side. In terms of scent, it does have like a slight fresh scent, but it's actually pretty subdued, especially compared to the Tarte foundation that I just tried. If you didn't see that, I'll link it in the little info card up there. But I'm just going in with my Rare Beauty brush and seeing how far this amount of product gets us. Really good coverage so far. So I have tried this foundation on a couple times before, but I haven't done a wear test yet, so this one will be our first. But that goes on so incredibly beautifully. I have this like close-up magnifying mirror so I can really look at the details of the product, and it looks really good. I'm not noticing anything like looking dry or patchy. Maybe right around like this pore area, but that's usual with most foundations. It kind of just doesn't look the best there. And this blemish isn't being covered, but I think it's really just the type of blemish, you know, those ones that just do not take to products. Kind of what we're dealing with that one. Beautiful, really nice coverage. I'm going to use a little bit less this time for my forehead. I actually really like it with this brush as well. It's definitely blending out nicely. I love this Rare Beauty brush because it has this angle to it, so like if you do your eyebrows before your makeup, you can like really get around them nicely. So wow, this actually looks really pretty on the skin. Compared to this side, it did cancel out all of my redness. Very, I would say, medium full coverage. You could probably shear it out. I'm sure with the sponge, we'll see if it makes it a little bit more medium coverage, but with the brush, like I'm getting a really solid, even coverage. It does feel super lightweight. I'm not noticing the scent on my skin, which I love. I do not like a scented foundation at all, especially one that lingers. That blemish down here isn't covered, but that's totally fine. I'm not like expecting my foundation to completely cover that, and it does have like very skin-like finish. It's not too dewy. It just has like a pretty nice glow to it. It has like a little bit of maybe tackiness. We'll see if that sets down. So let's go into this other side of my face using my Eco Tools sponge. This is also looking just as amazing with the sponge. I actually don't feel like the coverage is differing that much. It's still giving me pretty much the same finish. And I feel like the true test with a lot of foundations is how it applies on your nose. I do have some dryness on my nose, and I feel like that's usually a problematic area for most people, and it looks super beautiful. Like it did not cling to any of the dryness, and it's just looking good so far. With the sponge, I'm sure this does absorb a little bit more product than the brush does, but I'm always a sponge gal myself. Just for like the ease of it, you know, I feel like you can really cover some ground with this thing. But now I'm noticing the con is I can't get around my eyebrow. That's when the brush comes in. So here's our first layer. I absolutely love how it looks. I have no issues with it so far. I actually feel with most foundations I have to go in to at least cover a little bit more of my redness, because my redness is basically like my whole cheek area. So it can be a little bit hard to cover, but I feel like with that one layer, like it is pretty damn good full coverage. I'll go ahead and insert a clip of what the foundation is looking like with a video filmed on my phone. I feel like my phone is a little bit better at picking up details and texture and kind of what I'm trying to show you you with the foundation, so you'll be seeing that now, or it's over already. I really enjoy the finish of this. It's quite like dewy looking, but it also doesn't feel dewy. It just looks super pretty and definitely skin-like. So far so good with the foundation. Super impressed with it. I'm very, very excited to see how it wears. So let's move on to the accompanying concealer, which is their True Skin High Cover Concealer. So this is $7. Comes in 7 shades, which I think definitely needs to be expanded on. This claims to be high coverage, lightweight. It's also a waterproof formula. I feel like that's pretty interesting. And it's also claiming 18-hour hydrating wear. That's a little crazy. Does that mean it will stay on your face for 18 hours or it will look good for 18 hours? Because those are two totally different things. We'll see about that. Definitely not doing an 18-hour wear test, but we'll test it out. We'll test it out good. So the applicator is this like teardrop shape with sort of flatness on both sides, which I love. Picks up a good amount of product. Now clearly I have some pretty diesel dark circles going on. Usually I'll do like a little bit of corrector, but I'm just gonna start with the concealer and see where that gets us. By the way, this is the shade 001 Neutral Swan. I'm not a swan, but thanks. And I'm just gonna use my Eco Tool sponge. This is a very liquidy concealer, by the way. Not initially loving it. I don't feel like it's very full coverage. I'm really not loving this concealer at the moment. With the first coat was not full coverage, which it claimed that it was, and it also said that it didn't sink into fine lines, and that's exactly what it's doing on my face right now. So I'm gonna try to add a little bit more because it's also just like not giving me coverage. It's making my under eyes look a little weird, honestly. Maybe this will help, maybe this will make it worse. Actually, I'm gonna use my finger and see if that helps. Maybe it's just a formula that works better with some body heat. I actually do feel like it's looking a little bit better with my finger. Maybe that's the trick with this. I do find that it's blending well with the foundation though, so that is my one pro with this product so far. Definitely not horrible. I think my fingers helped it a lot. We'll set it with the powder and we'll see if that changes things up. Where's my powder? Here it is. But here we have the True Skin Mineral Loose Powder. This also has hyaluronic acid. This whole line, by the way, does have hyaluronic acid infused in it. I believe the foundation also has some other skincare ingredients in it. But this claims to be a matte translucent finish. This is $8. It also said in the description Ulta that it works on most skin tones. I'm not really sure what that means because it claims to be translucent, but how could it only work on most skin tones? But it also claims to be a soft focused finish. So from my experience with this so far, it does have a slight pearlescence to it, but it's definitely not very noticeable. It's very, very subtle, so I don't find that it like makes your under eyes look sparkly or anything. So this just comes in your classic sifter top powder, but it almost has like this pinkish hue to it. But I find personally on my skin it's translucent, but I'm very fair, so kind of hard to tell. So I'm just gonna make sure that the concealer's really blended out before we set it. So I do find like it sinks in lines when you leave it unset. And taking a Real Techniques under eye brush, I'm just going to set under here. That automatically made my under eye look so much better. I actually feel like it might have deepened it a little bit. Can you tell? Let me know in the comments. But anyway, I think that actually helped because the concealer was a little bit light. I definitely still have a lot of dark circle going on right here. I don't really mind it though. I mean, that looks really pretty under the eyes. I'm super picky with powders, so it looks good. Doing the same thing over on this eye. You know, I said I didn't like that concealer, but with this powder, it's actually looking much more decent. And with my finger, I think we kind of figured out the trick for that one. I'm just taking whatever's left on a big fluffy, this is a ColourPop F18 big old powder brush. And I'm going to lightly set the rest of my face. This is how I usually wear my foundation, so I always do that in a wear test. Although I don't feel like you necessarily need to set this. It didn't seem to like completely set on its own. They need new brake pads. It did not seem to completely set on its own, but you know, I think it'd be fine without it. Just my preference. This definitely gave a matte finish to the foundation, so the claim on that I find was true. Translucent personally on me, I'm not sure how different skin tones would work out with this though. And then the claim that it's soft focus, I do find that it's very soft focus and pretty. The texture is very thin and silky, almost feels sort of like an HD powder. It actually has aloe powder in it, I believe, which I used to love. The 14E aloe powder, I still love it. I just don't know why I don't own it at the moment. But that was one of those ingredients in that powder that I loved. So I think, I mean, It looks good. It looks good for sure. So I also picked up a couple other Catrice products I figured we'd try in this video. First, I was really interested in this Sungasm Luminizing Bronzer. Unfortunately, I don't think they have a lot of shades of this. At least on Ulta, they only had 2 shades. This lighter one and then a deeper one. So this, when I first swatched it, I was like, oh no, this is like so shimmery. It's almost like a highlight, but once applied to the face, I think it sort of shears itself out. So I'm just using this is a MOTV Golden Gem bronzer brush. I'm just gonna lightly dust this as my bronzer, which is definitely needed. Shade's a little bit light for me. I do really like shimmery bronzers. I think they add a nice glow to the skin, and this one like blends super smoothly. At least with this brush, it's doing really well. So with shimmery bronzers, I do have a lot of texture on my cheeks, so I have to be very careful with them. But I find that this one's actually really pretty. It shears out nicely. It has the same sort of silkiness as the loose powder, like it really just melts into the skin. But I feel like if you have a medium or deeper skin tone, you might not be able to find a shade. This is also like a little bit more red tone, so if you don't like that, probably would not be a hit for you. But I definitely see myself using this more frequently. For blush, I'm gonna stick with powder just so we don't sort of change how the foundation looks. I'm going to use my Patrick Ta. This is the Monochrome Moment She's Seductive blush, which is a really pretty mauve shade. And then for highlight, I have this More Than Glow highlighter. This is the Supreme Rose Beam. I was very excited about this because I love a icy pink highlight, and this is like, I mean, look at that pigment. That's crazy. I would not go that heavy-handed, but for the price, I mean, it's a nice highlight. I'm using a fan brush, very lightly doing a little bit of a highlight. So bam, that's basically our face. I'm gonna finish up the rest of my makeup and then I'll be back. Actually, before we go, I do have the Catrice Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Fixing Spray. I've heard a lot about this. This was actually a free gift with my Catrice purchase on Ulta, which was cool. So I am gonna use this on half my face, but we'll leave the other half just with the products on its own so we can sort of compare if there's a big difference. But I'm gonna shake this and we'll do the left side of my face with this. It actually reminds me a lot of the Pixie Glow Mist, but a little bit less like very glowy. Like it adds definitely some moisture back to your skin, but the Pixie one can be a little bit much depending on how much you use. So far I'm liking this. It is pretty fragrance, but it dissipates, so it's all good. So here is our completed makeup. It's $3.25 at the moment. I'll wear it till the end of the day and update you. But I mean, it's looking really good so far. I'm very impressed with the majority of these products. I'll do a roundup at the end of my final thoughts, but I'm happy with how everything's looking. Definitely feeling like my skin's looking perfected and nice, and I got some good coverage going on, so very happy about that. Let me know in the comments below. Are you excited about this new line? I love the price of it, like affordable, come on, and it looks really pretty. Let's hope that it turns out well, but give this video a like if you did enjoy at any point as well. I'm acting like I'm doing an outro. I'm not. I'll see you later. Bye. All right, so I am back for my final check-in. It is now 11 p.m. So I've taken a look at the foundation. I will go ahead and insert a clip of how the foundation is looking like at the moment. So I'm not really noticing anything too crazy going on, but I will say it is doing this weird sort of separation thing around my nose and my chin, where it's just like only looks like it's sticking to my pores, which is definitely not a good look. I will insert a clip that I took on my phone so you can really see just how it's looking around my nose a little bit more detailedly. Not really the word I'm looking for. So you can see in a little bit better detail. Other than that, it did stay put really well, but that just center of my face really isn't looking good. I'm wondering if I use a smoothing primer like the e.l.f. Putty Primer, if that would sort of change how that ended up looking on my face. I will have to do some more testing, but for the price, the longevity and the coverage of it is beautiful. If you can sort of get past that minor sort of breakup thing, but I mean, a lot of foundations do that, but that's definitely important to note with this one. For the concealer, I didn't initially love this. With the powder, it actually hasn't really creased throughout the day, which is surprising. I'm kind of torn on whether I would recommend this or not, because I feel like there are a lot of other drugstore concealers that are better than this one. It kind of depends what kind of consistency you like. Just on my under eyes, it wasn't as full coverage as I wanted it to be, but maybe I will continue using this one as well and see how I can get it to work. As you saw earlier in this video though, using my fingers with that actually worked a lot lot better than the sponge. The sponge made it look pretty weird and definitely took away a lot of coverage. For the powder, this is a really beautiful powder, very affordable. It looks very pretty. It looks like it has this slight sheen to it, but I don't feel like it enhances texture, and it really did keep me nice and mattified throughout the day. Maybe the nose separation thing has something to do with the powder. If that's the case, I don't like this, but it doesn't really seem like it's the powder's issue. It kind of seems like the foundation is sticking in different areas of my face. So this is definitely a thumbs up for me so far if you're looking for a nice translucent powder from the drugstore. Really beautiful under the eyes and super thin and silky if you enjoy that type of powder usually. Creasing around my smile line is actually pretty minimal. Just my con with this is it's looking dry and just patchy right around that nose area, but other than that, I mean, it stayed on really damn well. So I'm excited to continue testing really all these products out, but I think the foundation is kind of what stands out to me, this and the powder. The concealer, I would kind of say pass on. I don't know, it's not my favorite, but coverage wise, longevity wise, besides the nose thing, pretty good. Because of the like dryness nose situation, I'm not sure if you have dry skin you would love this because it does have a dewiness to it, but it definitely like dries down to a pretty like semi-matte natural skin finish. I would say probably more normal to oily skin would enjoy this type of formula. So that was it for my Catrice True Skin review, demo, and wear test. Love to hear in the comments below what you guys think of this new line. It definitely intrigued me and it was really fun to test out. I will keep you updated on the different ways I end up using this and trying it out. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already and give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in all the way to the end, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.